Hey friends. This video is a video that I hate to have to make. Though at the same time, I kind of can't see myself like moving ahead without making this video. And hopefully you'll understand that better after you watch this. Actually, I'm not exactly sure I'm gonna post the video. I just feel like I need to make this video. On January 11th, my stepdad passed away. And it has rocked our little family. And we are staying strong for one another, strong in the Lord, strong with support. But it's been tough. And I may cry during this video. I'll try to cut those parts out. But it's tough at times. And I just want to talk a little bit about him and about the lessons about money that he taught me. My stepdad was very unique. He was a funny person. He was loud. I mean loud, y'all. But he was the kind of person who was a very engaging person. You couldn't sit long in a room with him without him like bringing you in. He was the type of person that wouldn't just let you, hang back or blend into the wall. He wanted everybody to know that they mattered and that he could see you. And, some people, well, he's just unique. He was just that unique and friendly, and we miss him terribly, and we will miss him for a long, 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 long time. I've known him my whole life. My biological parents were married. They had my older sister. And then around the time, shortly after I was born, it's not my fault, but shortly around that time that I was born, or, I was here not very long after, or maybe a couple years after, I don't know. I have to get my facts straight. But they decided, they weren't going to work out their marriage. And they got divorced. And within years, my mom met my stepdad. And so, again, I've known him my whole life. We were pretty close. We talked all the time, and we could have talked more. And we loved each other, and we told each other. And we showed each other. And so it breaks my heart, and I'm brokenhearted for my mom and my nephews, because you just always wish you had more time. Always. So one thing I want to do is just thank you all for your prayers. In a couple videos, I did mention that, we needed some prayer for our family, for my dad, and I thank you so much for your prayers. They did not go unanswered. Around October and November, he went into the hospital for pneumonia, and they put a ventilator in and a feeding tube, and they were telling my mom a lot of different things, that he would not come off the ventilator, that he wouldn't recover. that, you know, and he did. They took him off the ventilator, and he, woke up smiling, and, and it wasn't the end of the challenges, but he woke up smiling and he came home, and we're so thankful for the additional time we had from November to January, because, around that time, October and November, they said otherwise. And I'm just so grateful and thankful to God. I'm thankful to you for your prayers, to my mom for staying strong whenever she would hear those things. She never let it shake her. My mom is one strong woman. I really look up to her. He came home and we were able to have time together, and I am so grateful for that. And when he went to the hospital this last time, there were a lot of things to overcome. And he knew that. And still, up to the end, he was positive. He was laughing and smiling and joking. And that honestly makes it more of a surprise, I would say, because right up to the end, he was concerned about us and he was laughing and joking. He was a fighter unto the end. He continues to inspire me. I'll just miss him, and I love him. And my priority is to take care of my mom and my family, and just to make sure they're okay, to take care of myself, and to make sure we're handling this well. Because, like I say a lot of times, love your loved ones. Love them. You don't know how much time you have. You just don't know. And you think you have way more time than you end up having. And, so I just wanted to reflect on him and thank you for your prayers. If you could continue to pray for my mom, my nephews, my sister and I, our family. My dad was a pastor, so our church family is going through a lot right now. We have God on our side. We have support. We're blessed. And we'll understand it better by and by. I want to shift gears and talk about the money lessons that he taught me. And I don't feel obligated to do this because this is a debt-free journey channel or a money channel, but he taught me a lot of lessons about money. And one lesson he taught me was just about reinventing yourself and recreating yourself and kind of like doing what you want to do. So as I was growing up in my teenage years and my young adult years, I kind of looked at him like the pyramid scheme king. And they call it like multi-level marketing now or something like that. He would always be selling. You hear me? Was it always be closing? Always be selling. He had the gift of gab. He could talk to anybody, and he would talk to anybody about anything. And there were times he was selling legal services. He would sell goji juice. He was selling like everything, insurance, you name it. He was really great at that. And even though, like, they get a bad rap for pyramid scheming or multi-level marketing or whatever they call it, but it helped me to see that there is money available in a lot of different areas. Yeah, a lot of us have 9 to 5 jobs, 8 to 5, whatever your hours are. A lot of us have those positions where we work, full-time work. Hey, that's good. But if you got to go work in a warehouse, go do that. If you have to make some side income, do that. Like they call it side gig now, do that. It made me realize that, yes, I can have one passion, one income, but I can go make money a lot of different ways. I appreciate that because I always look for opportunities to make more money. Whenever I was an hourly employee, anytime overtime was available, I was on it. You hear me talk about selling on eBay. There have been times in my life where I've had a 9 to 5 job and then worked at Target, worked at Amazon. Like he instilled in me that money is out there. Just go get it. I think that's really cool. He was selling everything though. He was selling everything. But that really just goes to show that your kids are watching. Your children are watching you. That's one thing he showed me. You can reinvent yourself. You can make a way for yourself. You don't have to just sit back and accept this salary. You can do it. And I appreciate that. Another thing that he taught me growing up was to put your money in your pocket or keep your money in your pocket. Now, he would normally say this when I had a few dollars on me. We were walking in, say, a gas station from the gas pump, and you've seen children kind of just flailing their $20 about, their $5, their $2 or whatnot. He would always say, put your money in your pocket. Now, he said that to me growing up. I would hear him say that to my nephews. I find myself saying that to my nephews. Somebody wanted your money. They could take your money, but don't give them the opportunity to know what you have. If we're all going into an establishment, it's safe to say we have money on us, but don't just have it out. He showed me that it's okay to have an anonymity with money and to not let everybody know. Like, not everybody has to know like what your money situation is. And that has followed me through my whole life. If you go back and look to the first video on this channel, I say, I'm not sure I'm going to share my salary. And no dig to anybody who shares their salary on YouTube or social media or whatever. I actually think it's pretty courageous. I actually think it's pretty brave when I see people sharing their income. But then I've seen a lot of other people who just don't do that. And I've grown up not really doing that. I've seen people on social media. I like this one specifically. Instead of saying what their net worth is, they talked about how their net worth had increased in a certain period of time. So, they could be millionaires, but they talked about the 145,000 in increase their net worth had received in the year or something like that, just because, everything is not for everybody to know. But I like that. It's okay to have an anonymity to your money. So imagine my surprise when about a month or so ago, my mom and I and my stepdad were sitting together, and my mom mentioned that I got a raise. He told her she got a raise. And he said, yay, thank God, congratulations. And he said, how much do you make? And I was like, my pearls. I'd never known him to ask such a question because we just never talked about it. In all these years, we never talked about this is how much I make. Like, I honestly don't know like how much my parents made before. I guess if I ask, they may tell me, but my sister, like, I don't know how much she makes. Like, nobody knows what I make in my immediate family. And I thought it was so funny. He asked that question and I said, wow, I have never known you to ask me how much I make. He was like, well, you can tell me. And I just, we had those lighthearted moments. I was just wowed by that. And I didn't tell him, though, I don't mind telling them, but I just was taken aback by that because we were always not secretive with money, but, the people who needed to know how much we made knew how much we made. And that's just something that has been instilled in me that, maybe at some point I'll share how much I make on this channel or whatnot. Who knows? I probably won't. I don't know. But that's where that comes from. Put your money in your pocket. Not everybody has to know what you make. And another money lesson he's taught me, and the last one I'll share today, is about the importance for prepping your loved ones for your passing. And this is particularly through an insurance policy. Now, I have never had to so closely plan a homegoing or a funeral service, as most say. I've never had to. So I didn't know what all came with it. I mean, I was pulling on like my aunt and my cousin. Like I was pulling on people who had gone through this to know exactly how to support my mom in doing this. And I will tell you, it can be overwhelming. A friend and I were talking, and they were talking about how some funeral homes try to get as much of that insurance policy as they can get by just charging a lot of different things and pricing things to get all of the insurance policy. And I can tell you, it's a lot. You're grieving. You kind of like don't know what to do. And you just kind of want to get it done and check that box off. And I can see how you can be taken advantage of in that moment. Now, if you follow Dave Ramsey, you know that, using myself as an example, I'm a single female. I don't have a spouse or children that depend on my income after I pass. So it doesn't quite make sense for me to have an insurance policy because nobody's dependent on my income after I pass. But this situation has taught me a lot about the need for an insurance policy to pay for burial expenses. Now, I do have an insurance policy through my job. I am going to check into it because I'm just now getting back to work. I am going to check into it and make sure that it can be claimed against, like the funeral home can make a claim against it for my burial expenses, just to make sure that that's taken care of. That is really, really important to be done. And again, using our situation as an example, even if you are single like myself, nobody depends on your income when you pass, like prepare your family to pay for your burial expenses. So we go into the funeral home to prep for my stepdad's service, his homegoing service, as well as his burial. And there's so many things to consider. I mean, there's what type of program do you want? Black and white or color? There's a cost to that. The casket, what kind of casket? How many cars do you want to go to the service? Like the building, to pay for the building. If, our church was not big enough for all the people we figured would come, and there was a ton of people. So it's like the building and so many different factors with so many different costs. And there are burial expenses. And thankfully, he was a veteran, so he was able to be buried in the veteran cemetery. And so with that, he got a free plot, a free headstone, a free flag, certificate from the president, and all that stuff. And so that cut out a lot of cost. But by the time we added up everything, it was thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. And if we had to pay for that right then without a payment plan, no doubt we would have gone into debt to pay for it. And I would have tried to avoid going into debt to do it, but that funeral home has to be compensated. But because my stepdad had an insurance policy in place, they put a claim against the insurance policy. So we called the insurance policy while we were there, and the funeral home made a claim on the insurance policy to pay for their expenses, and then the rest will go to my mom. They'll cut the check for the balance to go to my mom. So again, I'm just grateful. It wasn't a ton of money, but it was enough to take care of those expenses. It was enough not to cause worry, financial worry, as far as that goes. I'm just really grateful for that. I am even more so a proponent of life insurance than I had been before because of it. All in all, I'm just grateful for his consideration of that, because a lot of times we don't consider how our loved ones will pay to bury us. We don't. And that's one thing you can do to take care of your family after you pass, is to have enough insurance somewhere that they know about that they can help bury you. I think it's a lovely thing to do and to consider right now. Those are just a few things that he's taught me. I mean, in 3+ decades, I'll probably think over the next however long about all the things he taught me and all the things that I learned from him. And, we'll move forward loving on each other more and just remembering him with our whole hearts. This is a tough time for the world, with us mourning Kobe Bryant, his daughter, all of the passengers in the helicopter, the Altabellis, everybody. And if anything, I hope that we draw closer to one another. 41 years old, 13 years old, all of those ages ranging, so young. My dad, 58 years old. It's young. You think you have so many tomorrows, and the very next one isn't promised. So let's love each other. Yes, debt freedom is important. Today is important. If I don't see debt freedom, today is important. And I just want you to know that I value you, your time. I thank you for watching. And I thank you for your prayers, and know that whenever you're going through what you're going through, if you let me know in those comments, I am praying for you as well. I'm going to pray anyway, but I'm praying specifically when I know what you're going through. And let's just love each other, and let's just live this life. And thank you for all of your support. And I hope you know that I support you too. We'll see how things move along. I plan to be back doing things and us interacting, and I haven't stopped paying off debt or anything like that. It's just, this is life. And so I plan to be back posting and everything like that. I had a schedule that has gone very disregarded, but I do plan to be back and posting and us interacting and all of that stuff. It's just life. Y'all know how it is. So again, I love you. If you know nothing else, I am proud of us, and I'll see you next time. Bye.